We've achieved our objective. We wanted to be the fastest S3 on a hybrid turbo on the planet, but it's also now the third fastest EA888 Gen 3 or MQB 2-liter turbo in the world, third fastest in the world. It was running 10.0 at that point in time. It was tuned by MRC, and we needed a little bit more specifically on the ethanol alcohol tune, and we moved over to CPI tune. We went from a 10.0 to a 9.3 over a season, 7/10. When we ran the 9.4, we didn't even know what power the car makes. So our philosophy has not been to dyno tune the car. Basically it ran 9.3, 9.3, 9.3 the whole day. Then I tell you what, somebody comes and goes faster than us, we are not going to be unhappy. Cool, you know what, you go fast 100%, we'll go back, we'll make our stuff faster, we'll come back for you. That's the name of the game.
Welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. Today we've got Kuven Govender from Guvner Motorsport out of PE. He's going to be sitting with us today talking about his car. He's got a fast Audi S3 for those who don't know, and MSA rules and SA national drags and all of that. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Etienne. Thanks for having me, and thank you, Rahul, for hosting us.
In the previous video we mentioned that we'll be giving away some merch to someone who drops a comment down below the video on YouTube. So we are going to pick a random comment on podcast episode 2 where we had JP from 011 Street Society. And by the way, we'll be doing this from every podcast that we are doing. We will be giving away some merch. So be sure to leave a comment down below and you could win yourself some merch free of charge from myself and Rahul. Okay, so we picked the winner. The winner is going to be George. His comment was, "Great video, guys, from the front wheel drive king." So I'm pretty sure that is George with a Fox. You won yourself a shirt. We'll be in contact with you to get that out to you as soon as possible. Your car, last time when I interviewed you, you were running 10.0 when we were down in PE.
Yeah.
And I believe you've come quite a way since that. I saw you guys in at Kalani last year for the finals, where you were only allowed to run 8 mile. So, but you still ran sometimes.
So yeah, when you interviewed us, and we were very grateful. I mean, that gave us a hell of a lot of exposure down in PE, and that was fantastic. So yeah, it was running 10.0 at that point in time. It was tuned by MRC, and we needed a little bit more specifically on the ethanol alcohol tune, and we moved over to CPI tune. I tell you what, CPI performance innovation, sorry, and I'll never look back. Really, we went from a 10.0 to a 9.3 over a season, 7/10. Basically in Killarney the car was restricted to 8 mile because of safety heads up, and he ran consistent 6.0s on the 8th, and we knew, listen, you know what, he'd run 9.4, he'd run 9.7. When it ran 6.0s, we knew something was up. Got back to the final event, which was in December. It was actually quite warm, and it's my son driving it. He's actually the brainchild, as you know, behind all the development, the research, the testing. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have this car. He's put a lot of innovation into it. So basically it ran 9.3, 9.3, 9.3 the whole day. So yeah, I think we've achieved our objective. We wanted to be the fastest S3 on a hybrid turbo on the planet, but it's also now the third fastest EA888 Gen 3 or MQB 2-liter turbo in the world, third fastest in the world, and it's on a hybrid. 1 and 2 are actually Scotland and Australia. EcoTune and Galana, and those guys are running full frame precisions or carrots, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, we're quite chuffed.
And how do their times compare to what you guys have run over here?
So EcoTune's next up the road for us. They've done a 9.1 at Sander Pod, which we know is a fantastic track. I mean, that's full prep.
And
400,
the weather compared to what we got here.
They've got this perfect DA. So they've run a 9.1, and the Gulano car in Australia, also on a full prep track, has run an 8.9. So they've sort of shifted the yardstick now. It's the benchmark, and Yeah, we're not going to unfortunately do it in the S3. It's going to be set up and all of that. We're working in collaboration with Matthew. Matthew moved from Joburg to PE. Matt's R, as everybody knows him, the white 7.5R, and we've teamed up. We're working together. Matt's a partner in the new venture as well. So we've got a joint project we're working on, which is a 7R, but it's got a full chromoly cage in it, chute, all of that. So we've said, listen, let's not go and try and cut the S3, cut it up, all of that, because our chief scrutineer from MSA has said, the next time you come back, you're going to have a chute on the car minimum, take the interior out cage. So we can listen, you know what, it's too pretty a car. It will run 9.5 as it is now. Let's leave it. It'll still be legal at that point in time, and let's work on something purpose-built for drag racing from a safety perspective.
Okay. What changed? I know you said you changed tuner, but what all changed from the 10.0 to running the 9.3? And maybe if you can give the guys some background or broad overview of the modifications if the guys did not see the previous video.
Yeah, so basically it's a hybrid turbo. CPI, we initially had an RTEC hybrid on it. Fantastic turbo. But obviously with pushing the car, I mean, it gave way on the shaft. So CPI tuned mine, hooked us up with a CPI hybrid. He brings them in. We bolted that onto the car. Obviously we went from running a race fuel, 102, 104 octane race fuel with a little bit of ethanol, 20%. We're now running a full 85% ethanol in the car. But funny enough, and I think most people are not going to believe the statement, we built the motor in the S3 February 2022. We've had 670 odd quarter mile passes in the car, testing and competitive racing. We've driven the car to Neisner, we've driven the car to Durban. We still drive the car around in the street, and we haven't opened the motor once.
That's phenomenal.
So,
and that's without dyno mileage as well.
Well, funny enough, when we ran the 9.4, we didn't even know what power the car makes. So our philosophy has not been to dyno tune the car. Basically what we do is we go, and I think we're lucky in PE. We've got Elders Grabanti, which is like 20 Ks from our house. And I just go sometimes on a Wednesday just to go mess around, not even to test, you know, I can go. Race fuel in the car, race suit on, helmet on, and we go. So we go to the track, we basically get mine to load files in the car, and then we tune it at the track. So we're not simulating load from the dyno. We're basically going and logging it on the road, which is the main straight. You've been in the car, we've gone down there. We do that on the main straight. Then we basically, when we're all done, we slap on the Hoosiers. We do a full quarter mile pass on the track. Hey, it's not prepped because it's a testing day, but it gives us very good data. We've also gotten to a point where we live log the car all the time. We don't use VCDS. We've developed some stuff, which I will speak about a little bit, but we live log the car consistently. There's a wireless dongle plugged in there, even when you're just driving it around to go, you know, on the grocery run. It live logs the car all the time. Obviously the ethanol was a big thing. Yeah, mine's hooked us up with different map sensors and injectors and all of that. So yeah, we changed a little bit of hardware, including the turbocharger. But in terms of the motor and the intercooler, that kind of stuff, you know, we didn't change it from the last time you were there. It's exactly the same car.
Okay. And can we speak about the data logging that you said now? Because I know with aftermarket managements like Fuel Tech and that stuff, it's easy to log the data. But on a stock ECU, can you explain to guys how you do it? How is it made possible?
So we're thinking, let's not shoot for the fence. You know, buying a VCDS cable is a 7.5 to 8,000 rand investment if you've got a VAC car. Buying other cables, if it's BMW, whatever, and it's expensive, right? Most guys are not going to buy it. So we're racing the 2-liter MQB turbo or the EA AAA Gen 3. We've worked, it was actually my son that did the R&D, and then Matt got involved. So we've basically now partnered also with a technology company, Prolific Technologies, and what Prolific has done is they've gone and now developed an app, and the app works with a wireless dongle. You can plug it in any MQB 4-cylinder car, so that's Golf 7R, 7 GTI, TT, S3, obviously, the TIG ones. You can plug it in there, and it's an app on your phone. We're busy deploying to the iOS iStore because it takes iPhone App Store takes a bit of time, but Android is a bit easier. It live logs the car all the time. So if you just want to, if you basically driving in a car has a misfire, it logs it, and you can go and you can pull it up on your phone or the tablet, or you can save the file to a cloud drive. It's actually very innovative because at the end of the day, drag racers, and we found it, circuit racers have a data logging tool. They're checking everything. Us drag racers, we jump in the car, and what you're going to do, you're going to have a laptop with a cable over the steering or behind the seat, you know, and VCDS can only log 12 parameters. This thing logs like 30 to 40 parameters. And it's very useful because you can see exactly what happens. It graphs it all out in a chart. You can remove parameters. You can see various parameters together. So you can see, like normally when you log in the car, you'll see ignition retard or timing pull. This thing, you sees it as a graph. So you can actually see it, where in the rev range and how it does it. So it's very good. It's very innovative. We're ready to deploy it. And I think what we've gotten to a point is, you know, Hank Arrows, somebody like Hank. Hank will sell his stuff, right? He'll develop and sell it. Not just from a revenue generation perspective. He wants to make the stuff accessible and available. And we're at that point now, listen, we've done well with the car. Let's sell the stuff, you know, let guys get the benefit of racing it. And I tell you what, somebody comes and goes faster than us, we are not going to be unhappy. Cool, you know what, you go fast 100%, we'll go back, we'll make our stuff faster, we'll come back for you. That's the name of the game. Right? You can't expect to sit on your perch and be there forever. Guys are going to go faster, and that constructive competition is good. You know, so we'll make it available. It's on the web store. So guvnermotorsport.com. We registered a domain. It's an online store. We've also, maybe if I can touch on it, we've just opened up a workshop now as well, or tuner shop. We're calling it Gov's Garage. The bookings. So we're going to do race bulls, which we're busy with. We're busy with quite an interesting 7R now, which is going to be a beast of a car, over and above our race car. But yeah, we basically now going to have the tuner shop, and we're going to do it differently. If you want to book your service, you book it online. You want to book your rebuild, you book it online. You book your tuning. We want to be more like the way the dealers are with the tech and the customer service and the reports and stuff. Because what differentiates one tune house from the other? You know, it's your customer service. PE is a very difficult market. It's a lot smaller than Joburg. You know, the spending power is not there. But there are guys that, so we need to be a cut above the rest. And that's what we're trying to do with it. It was basically us opening up on Monday. We haven't kitted out properly, but it's going to take off. We've already got people lined up that are coming through, and I'm optimistic. I think we're going to make a success out of it.
I'm excited to see how it goes. For me, I haven't seen something like that local. I haven't really checked tuner shops abroad, but local I haven't seen something like that. So I'm excited to see how it takes off, and best of luck with the new venture.
Thank you.
So while we touch on that topic where you said PE is a lot smaller than Joburg and stuff, tell us about your racing scene there. When I was there, I was not there for SA National Drags. I was there for something else back in the day.
Bragging rights, I think it was.
It could have been bragging rights. So we were only at that one event, so I didn't really spend a lot of time there to see the whole culture and that. So
we've got a lot of fast cars in PE, right? I mean, you've got Christo Engelbrecht, right? Naturally aspirated Honda, right? K24, I think it is. I mean, Christo's run low 10s with that thing. It's an NA car. You've got Nazim Sakati. Everybody knows Nazim. I mean, he's made anything Nazim touches is fast, right? He's got the E36 now, right? Multi-valve. He's run 9.6, I think, with it, right? It's fast, right? We've got a couple of other guys. The thing is that drag racing scene in PE has taken a massive hit over the last couple of years. I think the effects of COVID maybe were like 2 years delayed. Directly after COVID, it wasn't too bad. And now we're feeling it. I mean, we're struggling to get 20 competitors at an event, right? However, on the Friday night, which is your street-to-strip type events, yes, I mean, there you'll get everybody coming in. But MSA drag racing, we're struggling. We're trying to basically think out the box here now, what we can do to bring more people in there. We'll get it right. It's difficult because everything is just, you need to spend money on track hire. You need officials, you need marshals, you need an amber, you need this and that and the other. And it all racks up, you know. Yeah, okay, PE is a little bit cheaper, I think, than the rest of the country. But still, I mean, you're looking at a 55 to 60 grand bull just for one day to host an event. If you have 20 competitors at $900, I mean, and 150 spectators, you can't break even. So we got to do something because it's just not cutting it at the moment. A lot of races as well have sort of gotten out the scene, you know. Revo, right, is sort of a dead brand in this country, but Revo was massive in PE. they've now gone, you know. We've got Ultimate Performance in PE, we've got CPI now, we used to have Insane Racing. It's all the tuner houses, and, you know, the guys are sort of pulled back. I'm hoping that, you know, guys start building their cars and start coming back to the scene. It's not about how fast your car is, not about who tunes your car, it's about coming out there, racing your car. Let the car talk, you know. There's so much of these keyboard things. This is, I got added to a couple of groups here in Joburg, eh? And I tell you what, there's days when I actually mute that group. I look and it's 0 messages. I look 3 hours later and there's 900 messages in the thread, you know. Rahul will know the group I'm talking about. So it just goes on the whole day. And there's PE groups like that as well. Guys, listen, we talk so much. Bring your car, come to the strip, right? And come race the thing. Let the car do its talking, you know. Don't talk about how fast my car is. Don't talk about how quick I am. Come to the track, you know. Because the more people come, the more you can work with in terms of affordability. Now the numbers are bad, you've got to try and make up the cost. The more people come, then you can reduce the cost. You know, I think maybe that's something the guys need to think. If you come and support, and you don't have to bring your fully modded Pro Mod. The drag racing scene in South Africa is not Pro Mods. The drag racing scene in South Africa is modified street cars. The bulk of the cars are modified street cars, whether it's a BM or whether it's a Sentra, or Nissan Sentra, whether it's an Audi, a Volkswagen, a Merc. I mean, it's all modified street cars. I mean, you've got the Duppies of the world, and you've got the Booties of the world. But I mean, if you look at the ratio of how many of those type cars there are in comparison to the number of Audi RS3s, Audi S3s, Golf 7Rs, you know, now the G80 M3s just cracking everything, you know. There's far more of those kind of things, and that's the scene, you know. It's still a street car. Yeah, it's a modified street car, it's still a street car, and you can still come and race, and you can still come and have fun. So we're hoping it will change. Trying to put in some effort is also difficult, but we'll see. Maybe in the next 6 months we'll have a bit of a formula to see what.
Maybe when we come down for SA National Drags, the guys will get fired up again.
I hope so. They did, eh? I tell you what, that was a big thing. We eternally grateful. Nati is a true gentleman. I love Nati. What a guy, you know. We eternally grateful that, I mean, he came out that car, right, with some bumps and bruises. He was okay. But, I mean, that day for a PE, everybody idolizes Nati. I mean, there's guys in PE, oh, Nati Boyson's coming with the crest, you know, wow. And they come there to watch Nati, and then the local hometown boy, Nazim, you know, gets out the blocks and he's across the finish line. That was a big thing. But there again, you see, Nati had one bad run. Nati normally doesn't have a bad run. He had one bad run. But you came there and you saw something good, so come out and support us and make it better by showing your support to spectators. It's not fun when you've got 150 people and nobody cheering, you know. Guys are going, and 20 competitors. You can have 10 runs up and down, you know. It's no fun. You want that spirit, that atmosphere.
I think you need to invite some of the Cape Town guys over. Let them come and make a ruckus at the track.
We have had quite a following in the past. There have Cape Town guys who used to come. And I don't know, you know, there used to be a time where call out worked. And you diss somebody, you know what, I'm calling you out. I don't know, it's watered down now. The guys, it's like water off a duck's back, they don't come. But I'm hoping this year, you know, but I think it swings both ways. You know, yes, it's an affordability thing. But if the Cape Town guys come to PE and the PE guys go to Cape Town, the two provinces that support one another. And yeah, JP, Harry, listen, you know what, don't let your heads get too big, but yeah. KZN supports Joburg 011 and 011 supports KZN, and it was those two provinces that traveled last year consistently throughout the entire country. And you know what, I would like to say again, guys, I've said it to you guys personally, but thank you. With the national challenge last year, it was those two provinces that carried us all the way through to a final. I understand that times are difficult, but we need to think out the box to get the Joburg round supported by the PE guys and the Cape Town guys together with the Durban guys, and then from each province. And that's what makes a national. You've got to have a national representation of all 4 provinces because it's across 4 provinces. But I think we'll get there. It's difficult. I think we'll get there. There's a lot of like-minded guys that are working together. We will get there, definitely.
And last year was the first time you held the SA National Drag, so a lot of guys were a bit wary about it. About the rules and stuff, but I think this year everyone knows what they're in for, and I'm hoping to see a bigger turnout this year. Not that it was a bad turnout last year, the turnout was phenomenal, but I'm hoping to see that we can see it grow every round, just see it grow bigger. With the SA National Drags coming this weekend to Midville, what can the viewers expect to see that comes and sit on the side to watch the racing? What can they expect to see? Is there going to be something different than last year? Is it going to be the same thing?
Okay, so we have sort of changed the format. So it's been, to maybe give you the background, it's been 2 years, right? 2.5 years actually of hard work. I mean, we lost Wally Papas, right? God rest his soul. I mean, he was the head of drag racing for Motorsport South Africa. There was a bit of a void. You know, most guys just want to race. They don't want to do the meetings and the conferences and all of that. And because I was getting involved in PE, I was asked to sort of, you know, get involved. Do you want to get involved? Because you got involved at Ellis Grabanti. And I said, fine, let me see. But on one condition, can I choose like-minded people from the different provinces? And we put together a team. So we established a national working group, which will become a commission soon. I'm the chairman of the national working group. And when I started getting involved, I realized, whoa, hang on. Do you know what? There's a set of rules here that talks about the safety in the car and the safety in the driver and the safety in the track. And there's a set of classes. But what we do out on regional and club events is completely different. So somewhere, somehow over the years, you know, you started having the 4-cylinder and the 6-cylinder, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. Those are supposed to be for street-to-strip racing. And it found its way into competitive drag racing. And the rules for, like, because the numbers were bad, there was a rule that was always there. 10.5 second or faster, you need a full roll cage. Okay? 230 kilometers per hour in a track with less than 500 meters of runoff, you need a parachute, single chute. And there's a whole bunch of things. There's level 2 fire retardant suit if you're running methanol or water methanol injection. And somehow the people just sort of, you know what, it's fine, let's carry on. Then last year when we said, let's go back to the actual rules, we're not changing it, let's enforce it. Etienne, I tell you what, between myself and Harry and JP and a few other people, I think I took over 1,000 phone calls over the year of guys fighting with me. Gov, you're killing drag racing. You're making it expensive. Why you all change the rules? And I was like, we didn't change the rules. The rules were there. But the reason we're now enforcing it is because it's for everybody's safety. We're not just doing it because we want to say, stop you from going faster. Where in the world can you go today? There's no proper drag racing or federation, be it Australia or NHRA. You can't go with an 8-second car that has no roll cage. You can't go in a car that you built, let's call it the City Golf, Mach 1 City Golf. If you go and you turbocharge that City Golf and you strip it out and you cut it away, NHRA won't allow you to drive without a roll cage. But it was allowed, and it's sort of, so we're saying, let's get back there. And we know, guys, it's difficult. There's more money to be spent, but it's for your own safety. But I tell you what, from last year to this year, you cannot believe how many guys that actually fought and argued went and installed roll cages, roll bars, half cages, proper FIA spec harnesses, proper seats in their cars. You know, they started buying race suits and gloves and all of that. And again, you know, we're grateful that it was just an accident. Had Nati not had a proper roll cage in his car, that would have been bad. In 2021, I think it was, we lost a doc, right, a medical doctor by trade with his Opel Cadet at Killarney, car barrel rolled. So, you know what? And that happened, I think, at 162 kilometers per hour. I mean, the Daza, RSTs and TTRSs are exiting north of 260. This happened at 160, right? So it can happen. I don't think our guys realize, you know what, we'll be fine. The moment you say we'll be fine, it's like, whoa, hang on. That's like a jinx thing for me. We'll be fine something, rather sit back. So it's not my rules, it's not Harry's rules, it's not it's not even MSA's rules, as in MSA put it together. The drag racing regulations for South Africa is a combination of, and we certainly benchmarked because we're different to the NHRA or Great Britain on its own, Australia. We took the best aspects of the NHRA regulations, the British drag racing and the Australian drag racing, and we put it into a document that suited South African drag racing. We took it out. I mean, we don't have your altered and funny cars and things like that. We took it out. We reckon if that becomes a thing, we'll do an amendment to the rules. We're talking about your modified, true street car, which is, I mean, you can put exhaust and a downpipe in a true street car, still a true street car, but I mean something that came, you can flash tune it, yes, but something that hasn't been cut or seats taken out. That's a true street car. Modified street car is, yeah, we've tinkered with it. You know, we've done this and that, carbon fiber bonnet, we might have put in a race seat. And then a modified race car is exactly what it is. From Pro Mod to funny car to altered, it's a purpose-built race car. It doesn't have a license disc. It came there on a trailer. You can't drive it on a public road. A modified street car, you can still drive, it's still legal. But a race car, and we've simplified it into just 3 categories for cars. The bikes, I think, is 5. Also, we've been sort of, Tarleton's come on board now. And there's a lot of guys out there that have got previous experience, 15, 20 years, whatever. And we're starting to work closer together. Let's form a technical committee. Be busy with that. We are also not 100% technical on certain things. So a technical subcommittee with guys that are very technical. And then when a query comes, our competitors, well, athletes, you know, we drag races, but we're athletes, you know. Why don't you then send it through an official channel? The guys have got emails, or they've got on WhatsApp groups they can contact. Send an email, send a WhatsApp, you know, guys, listen, I'm unhappy about this, you know, can we talk about it? Can I offer my assistance on a committee? The rules will not be cast in stone, they'll evolve as time goes along, you know, but we need feedback from the guys. We need collaboration. We need them to communicate. Don't go into a WhatsApp group and start dissing MSA, you know. Don't start fighting among yourselves. Talk to us, because if I was just a bureaucrat, I was a guy that's never drag raced in his life, then fine, no problem, slam me. I came from the street. I'm no saint. I've always said it. I street raced most of my life until my wife said no more. Right? You worry about your family and no more street racing. And when I got back into it 5 years ago, she was like, listen, you do it at a track, you don't do it at all. So I got back into it. I still raced 2 championships, provincial colors, and because I took the time to actually read the rules. And this is where the guys have done themselves a disservice, be it in Gauteng or in Western Cape. Do you know you can actually get provincial colors for motorsport? I never knew that until 5 years ago. And when I knew it, I made it my life's mission to do it. And now with, last year was a national challenge, the regional status, because we needed to just sort of see where it would go. This year's a full-on national championship. So you become a national champion at the end of it. But if you win a national championship and you participate and you win your regional championship, you qualify for colors. I mean, you can take the trophy away. I mean, Rahul's got trophies, I've got trophies. But I mean, imagine now you participate in the event and you get your Gauteng blazer or your Western Province blazer or your KZN or EP blazer. I mean, you can show that your great-grandchildren, your grandchildren. It's an achievement, because in any form of motorsport, hockey, soccer, volleyball, swimming, it's an achievement to get your colors. And it takes commitment, it takes dedication, consistency. It's not about just going fast. This is the other fallacy with drag racing. We just want the best ET. You can have a car that does an ET of 10.0, and the next run on the car is 14, the next run's in 11, and then you do a 10.40. And then you break the car the next event. But would you not rather have a car that can run 10 events the whole year? 10.0, 10.1, 10.0, 10.1. Do 80 passes and do 10.0, 10.1. That's how you win a championship. It's like any other sport, you know. Soccer, rugby, you've got to be consistent, you've got to score points. It's a league system. So that's what your national championship is. It's 4 rounds, but it is sort of a league system. You got to score points in every round. Uncle Terry, I call him Uncle Terry. I know Rahul's been calling me Uncle. I think the grey hair is there. But Uncle Terry, I mean, look at him. He participated throughout the country. He was the overall champion last year because he was consistent throughout. He may not have been the fastest guy there, but he was the most consistent guy. He participated in every event. I mean, hell, last year we had competitors, I won't mention name, but they're all like family. I mean, we're brothers. We had competitors fighting, you know what? It's so expensive to travel all around the country. What incentive is this? We wrote it into the regs. Now, if you come and you qualifying and you do at least 1 pass in qualifying, we give you an attendance point. So if you win your class and you attend the event, instead of getting 5 points for just winning your class, you get a 6th point. So, you know, like Formula 1 gives for fastest lap. It's not for fastest lap, but I mean, everything the guys spoke about last year, we've listened, we've incorporated it into this year's reg. Can I get attendance points because I'm spending so much money? I come all the way, I break in qualifying. I get nothing. We're going to give you a point, right? Cool, 100%. Second thing is, if my car breaks in the second round, I'm out for the rest of the season. We change that as well. If your car breaks in round 1 and it's a proper failure of the car and it can't be repaired in time, you got 1 vehicle substitution in the same class for the year. Again, see, we heard the guys, we listened. So our comrades, brothers in drag racing mustn't think that we're not accessible. We've listened to everything, and where it was practical and safe, we've gone back and said, listen, you had a valid point, you had a valid point. We've changed the regulation now to make it more accessible for you and make it better for you to come. And I think we can expect some good stuff. We did change the whole thing about 8th mile and quarter mile though. So any car sub 10, heads up racing will be on the 8th mile, and anything that's 10 and slow basically on the quarter. We saw what happened last year when we had it at Desi, right, with Colin and what's called Glenn Leone, right? I mean, 2 fast buckies, right? They're not going to let off. And then also with Nati, not going to let off. I think it's just safer because none of our tracks that we regularly race are proper drag strips. They're circuits with a main straight. So 8th mile is safer for sub 10 cars. And the formula as well that gives more this year is we're going to run it over 2 days. So last year was 1 day, and the second day was like, well, the first day was like an unofficial qualifying. This year's official qualifying, day 1. Day 2, we give you an hour in the morning to basically come, and for those that couldn't make it, and then we start eliminations early. We get the eliminations out when your car's still fresh and all of that. Then we finish by just after lunchtime. But by that time, the track's rubbered in, the track temperature's right, and you can then go even your sub 10 cars solo for your PB. So it's basically heads up competition, national championship for points, right, for colors and all of that, depending on how you win. But it gives you then the ability to go and try to run a PB on a track that's properly rubbered in. That, I think, is a big draw card. It's 2 days, not 1 day. You're going to get more than, I mean, guys also complain, 2-3 runs. I mean, now you can go to your heart's content. It's over 2 days. So if you want to do 10 runs and you're in the queue when the elimination finishes, then do 10 runs. You know, you'll get value for your money on a prep track. A lot of effort's also been put into safety. Big shout out to Harry, JP, Kumaran and the team. Listen, guys, Ian from MSA was out over there, Sparky Bright, for helping. The guys were out literally flat out this whole week. All right, sorting out the safety of Midval. They've done a lot of work for Midval this week. So there you see, it's also the commitment, not just from MSA. I mean, although I sit on the board of directors of MSA and the working group, it's us in the background as normal racers and as normal people and friends. A lot of work has gone into the background to prep that track and make sure that all the little niggles are fixed up. So the guys are safe and they can go to town with PBs and they can go to town with heads up racing come Saturday.
One thing that I want to touch on, I'm not sure if I understood that correctly. So with the eliminations on the second day of day 2, you said it will be heads up in the morning and then it changes in the afternoon. So do you decide the winner in the morning then while it's still heads up? Or how's that going to work?
Okay, so the Friday will be your basically dial-in / qualifying. So we're hoping that 80 to 90% of the guys come on the Friday because they've got the whole day. They come in and it's timed on Friday, right? You've got the timing guys there. We've got where you went in terms of your ET in your class. You want to change the class, you change it on the Friday. So when we come on Saturday morning, we've maybe got, we're hoping 5 to 6 guys that couldn't make it on the Friday. They spend an hour giving them preference to go, and then you've got your pairings for your, whether it's round of 32 or round of 16.
Like we did it last year.
Remember that, right? So normally you at lunchtime you're scrambling to do the pairings, right? You're checking because you use a sportsman's ladder, you know, it's just not 1 versus 2, you know. You use a ladder of it's 1 versus 5 and 2 versus 6, etc. But we get that done on a Friday. So you come Saturday, you have an hour. By lunchtime, that, you know, pressure competition to get your eliminations and the class winners are done. And then after lunch, right, you basically then have got open time to go out, right? So you've done all the stuff where you needed to be competitive and heads up.
So the winners will be decided like before lunchtime,
yeah,
or ideally before lunchtime.
Correct. And then there's no pressure, Etienne. I mean, last year we were waiting till 6 o'clock in the evening 6 o'clock in the evening, we're trying to see who's the winner of the class.
Yeah.
And, then we got it's an official event, so you've got to publish the results, give them half an hour for protest. And then you end up doing prize giving 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. The guys are tired. I mean, out in the heat. So we reckon this is the best thing, because we know that by the time we hit the 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we can cut it at 4 o'clock, but guys have been doing open runs from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. You can't complain that you didn't have enough time. You've had enough time. The results are already prepared. They've been sent out. Objections have been dealt with. And then you can start the prize giving.
I think that gives everyone a fair chance. Let's say Rahul, for instance, who travelled to Cape Town and you were knocked out in round 1. Who was knocked out in round 1, that's the end of racing for him. One and done. So that will give him a fair chance, for instance, to have more runs in the afternoon.
100%.
Okay, so that will help the guys that gets knocked out in round 1. So they'll have the afternoon to keep on running the cars and the bikes and whatever. But let's say, for instance, an event like Kalani last year, because I was standing in the sun from 7:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock, and there was heads-up racing the entire day.
Yes.
So how do you plan on getting that whole program into a morning, or how are you guys going to do that?
The 2-day event. So last year, we had 2 days at Aldo. We had 2 days at Midval. Desi wasn't 2 days. Desi was 1 day. All right? No, it was 2 days. Was 2 days. The first day was an unofficial practice. This year, the first day is an official practice. So by the time we get there on the second day in the morning, we already have the pairings, Class A, Class B, right? Who's racing who for the first round of eliminations. Whereas last year, we had to sit during lunchtime and do the eliminations. And then we're scrambling in the afternoon, 2-3 hours to get it all done. So we said, this is why we're encouraging the guys your entry fee's gone up. I think it's $200. Last year was $1,750. It's like $1,950. So you're getting 2 full days for $200 more. And we know it's a Friday, but Sunday is also difficult. You got to leave a Sunday because MSA allows you to have what they call a rain day. So if your event is rained out on a Saturday and Sunday is good, you can still have it. That played in our favor last year for the PE round because it rained on a Saturday. So you got to have a rain day because Monday can't be rainy. People are back to work. And also with the Sunday now, people can travel back to home. They're coming from all over the country. It just makes it lighter on everybody. 1 day is too much of a rush. This year, I think, is going to work smashingly well because you do all your testing. And again, we're saying to the guys, listen, drag racing is a sport. You're an athlete. If your car's working, right, and it's fine, don't go over there on a Friday and beat on it till you break it and then
Leave it for the competition.
Leave it for the save it for the heads up, Save it for the heads up. If you go and you do 3 passes and it does 9-0, 9-0, 9-0, leave it. Go back, park it, right, till the next day and go out again. So I think it's going to help. And then we all know that the heads up is what this competition is about because it's competitive, it's nationals. We know, and okay, I'm also guilty of it to an extent. I'm human. You want to be the best in your class or the best in the world or the best in South Africa or the fastest M3 or the fastest TTRS or Golf 7R, whatever the case may be. You're getting a rubber-in track after lunch. And you couldn't run your sub-10 car heads up, but you can run your sub-10 car solo. So if you want to come and try for a PB, right, in the afternoon, negotiate this, and I want to do a solo run, nobody's going to stop you. So you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting a timed event, and you're getting an elimination event. And you're also getting enough time to be able to do that now. So I think that's, like you said, there's a lot more value this year for what you're doing.
Yeah, so to explain to the guys a bit further on that, late in the afternoon, we usually see the best times. But now, since this is bracket racing, so let's say you run a 10-0, you dial a 10-0, you are not allowed to run a 9-9, otherwise you break out and you lose. Is that not right?
So you allowed, so there is a little bit of lever, 0.001. So if you enter the 10.0 to 10.499 class or bracket and you run a 9.999, you don't break out.
Okay.
If you run a 9.998.
So it's 0.01.
Yeah, that's your breakout.
Yeah, so by the time you get to the afternoon, when it's not heads up anymore, that's a time that you can go faster and improve on your time better than what you have dialed. because like I say, we saw that late in the afternoon, the times do come down on the second day especially, and that could cause a breakout, or it would have last year, whereas this year you will be safe. You run in the morning heads up, and then afternoon you can shoot for your personal best.
Listen, I've been heavily criticized. I got hammered about this whole official statement. MSA is the ASN for the FIA. It is the only recognized federation for motorsport in South Africa through the Sports Ministry and SASCOC, which is the Olympic Commission. And it is official, that statement, it's official. So if you run a PB, or if you run what's perceived as a world record, okay, because you ran it at an MSA permitted event, when you're going to get an official time slip, after the eliminations on a solo run, you can claim that time. You can claim that time because we fitted it into the program to allow you to do certain solo runs or to run for a PB. And it's part of the event. We're going to give you a time slip. Your time is officially recognized. If you want to do a backup night, we'll let you do the backup. So you know, listen, I've got the initial run and I've got a run within 2% of it. So it just gives the time, the guys that are chasing time something. It gives the guys that want to actually come and win their classes something as well.
So we can now officially have fastest in the world titles and stuff like that going forward.
Yeah, it's been a contentious issue. The thing is, you really don't have records all over the world. It's been social media records created. And again, I'm guilty of it, you know. I should be leading by example because it's not like a Guinness World Record or something. Somewhere, somehow, it's got to change. And with my position at MSA, it's been a time constraint. I just don't have time to do everything. But somewhere, somehow, we need to sit down with the FI and say, listen, drag racing has evolved from the 1960s to now. Now you've got tuner cars and you've got guys wanting to claim that I'm the fastest G80 M3, I'm the fastest RS3, I'm the fastest A45, right? I'm the fastest whatever, right? How do we set up something where you can officially recognize that as a world record without you having 10,000 different things? Because you know what's going to happen, right? And fastest with a this and fastest with a that and fastest pink car and fastest orange car. We've got to find something to put it. But I think, you know, maybe there is on social media out there. You're not saying that you're the fastest with a full frame turbo or fastest with a hybrid turbo. You're just saying I'm the fastest TTRS, done. Fastest RS3, done. We've got to find a way of incorporating it, but with the official side of it, of you running it at an official event, you got the time slip to back it up. So when we do have the record, you can come say, well, hang on, now there's a record for it. Yeah, look, I've done the record. Here's my slip. So there is something in the pipeline as well in the future for doing something like that. It's going to be difficult. I don't think it's be easy. The FIA, I don't think are the most easy people to talk to because they're more focused on other types of motorsport. But funny enough, I attended a technical safety webinar or seminar online, and there were like people from all over the world, literally from India and from Japan and from South America and stuff. And yeah, according to the delegates from the FIA, drag racing and drifting are the two fastest growing types of motorsport in the world because they are much more accessible, according to them. It's more accessible to build a drag car and build a drift car than it is to build a full circuit car. So that's also something positive, you know. You don't have to go to the level of a circuit car to build a drag car. If you come with your street car, it's tuned, you slap a set of DOT or Department of Transport approved tires on it, you can run your car in street category. It's accessible. I hope it catches on. And I think what yourself and Rahul have started, I mean, you've been doing it for years, Etienne. You know, you've created so much awareness. This whole podcast and having the different guys with different perspectives coming over here, it's creating awareness, right? And that awareness is what's going to grow the sport. Because a lot of people, that document's 85 pages. Who's going to read 85 pages?
Exactly.
Right?
I'm not going to.
Exactly, right? And I said this to Harry, I think it was yesterday morning, because we've been now flat out with this event. I said to him, you know what? People will not go and read something if it's a PowerPoint presentation or a PDF or something. But I promise you, when you have something that's audible, right, and it's fun, and it's, you know, something that's relevant to them, they'll sit and they will take it in. Ah, okay, cool. Then maybe they need to read 2 pages that's relevant to them. They only go read the 2 pages. Now, to get to the 2 pages, they might have to go through 80 pages. Nobody's going to do that.
Yeah, but it's the same if you Google something. I don't know if it's only me, but if you Google something, you get videos and then you get like the old forums like we had back in the day. I'd just rather go to the video, watch that for 2 minutes and be done.
Exactly. It's like books, reading the whole novel and going and getting the study guide. You know, it's an abridged version. Nobody has time for the whole long story. And I think when it comes to drag racing, it's not a lot of complexity. You know what? Guys, just realize, if you've got race fuel in your car and it's alcohol in nature, right, methanol, you need a level 2 fire retardant suit. The biggest misconception while we're on fuel is that E85 is available from a pump station in Europe and America. You don't need a fire retardant race suit if you're running E85. But if you're running E85 and you've got a 10-liter tank in the boot with M1 VP Racing methanol, right, you got a problem, okay? Because the methanol is the danger part, not the ethanol. So yeah, you know, it's just these things, you know, the guys will not read it, but yeah, I mean, you know what? Hopefully it will change. I think more of this kind of stuff, little short videos and longer videos, and you know, speak to the competitor, get back to the competitor, and then obviously they're gonna comment, right? They're gonna engage. Do that, guys. Comment, engage, ask. You know, fight with us. I mean, if they fought with us last year, the rest of the competitors, fight with us. You know what? We're not gonna be enemies after the fight. We're going to argue. We're going to argue the point, right? And we're going to get you, I agree with you, or you agree with me, or we agree to disagree, or, you know what? But at least if you go back and you do what you need to do, right, to make it safe for yourself, make it safe for your family, then do it.
And now for the guys who stayed long enough, you came without a trailer, no S3.
Okay, so
you touched on that quickly earlier, but elaborate on that for us.
So the S3 exited at 237 last year when we did a quarter-mile solo pass at Aldo December. And it didn't do it once. It did it 3 consecutive runs, 9.3, 9.3, 9.3, 236, 237. The threshold for a shoot, single shoot, is 230. If you have less than 500 meters of run-up. So Aldo's got like 250 odd. Kilani's about the same. Desi goes downhill into a cul-de-sac, into a valley. Tarleton's a strip, you can do it there. And then the last one, obviously, Midval. So we need to put a parachute in the car. And for my own sanity and my wife's own sanity, if when I'm driving the car or my son's driving the car, we reached a conclusion that we don't need a parachute. I mean, we don't need a roll cage because it still can go 9.0, but we at the danger level. So we need a roll cage, and the S3 was too pretty a car. And then Matt Saar, everybody knows that car here in Joburg. Matt ran 9.6, and also too pretty a car. So there's a rolling chassis 7R that we've built. The S3 is still running. I drove it to go and get the loaf of bread and milk on Tuesday. So she's still running, she's there. We didn't bring it because it was just pushing the limit too far. I had a bit of a wobbly. We have an 041 list that we created in PE. I haven't put the video on social media, and we were basically doing street outlaws type. We even got one of our guys, Rian Boertes, he races a Champ Bucky, made us a trophy with a brake disc and some pistons and like a looking thing like way Farm Truck and Asian used to do. And it had 041 number 1 in it. And we started this list. We had 3 events, and you know, the first event I didn't race, Matt didn't race. We got in the list and we started working ourselves up, and I got to a point, I called out Zimo with the E36. His car was hurt. They're going to take the spot, race the number 1, which was Rian. And Rian knew my car was faster, but I was with my full interior on street tires, but it was in the evening. And I went, and funny enough, I had a bit of a wobbly in the car. Bolt came loose, oil got onto the tires, and I did a full 360 at turn 1 at Elders Grabanti. And it was 11.0 pass because I wasn't allowed to go faster than 11.0 street to strip.
200.
And that was like, listen, cage or nothing. So that's why the car's not here. The car can do a pass. I think we're at a point now where we don't want to take a chance. We don't want to take a chance. It will get to 200 very quickly. If something happens, yeah, it's a strong car, you know, but still, it depends how the car rolls, what it hits. So we'd rather not take a chance. We will be in Joburg, right? And the next car we're coming to Joburg with is hopefully going to be faster than any of the other 4-cylinder MQB cars, including our own, the next time we come here, so hopefully.
Okay, so now we need to know. Can you tell us what you are building? You already said it's a Golf, but is it going to be the same, more or less the same setup as the S3, or is it going to be evolved from that, or what? Can you give us info, or do we need to wait for the car to come out?
A little bit of info. We want to save the best. We want to save the best for it. Hell, this car, Matt Prashalen have gone. This car's got a name. It's got a logo. It's got a really funky looking logo, right? The wrap has been designed already for the car. It has a full chromoly cage. It has a parachute. It's a collaboration car. So basically, we are going to first try the setup from my car in terms of the powertrain, because Matt runs a full frame, we run a hybrid. We want to try the hybrid, see what it does, then try the full frame. Matt obviously is a 7.5R. We, with the DQ381, we still run the DQ250. So we're going to try a little bit of Frankenstein here. Take the best parts of Matt's R, which makes 630 kilowatts. And the best part of Stormtrooper, which is the S3's name, which makes 564, but obviously puts the power down. And we're going to put those two together and we're going to test. So it's probably going to be late nights and working on the car and then testing at Ellis Grabanti. And we can't bring the car out and go slower than 9.3. So that's the benchmark.
That was what I was going to ask you next. Yeah. What's the goal for the car? Like, do you want to go 9.3 again, or do you want to go 9.0? Where do you want to go with it?
So I'm saying 9.0. I know Prashalen and Matt might have a different number. I'm saying, listen, let's get to 9.0 first. You remember when you did our full shoot and our interview, we wanted 10.0. You know, let's get 10.0. Before we can go into the 9, let's get 10.0. And we got 10.0. So I'm saying, logically, if we can get 9.0 on debut, I'll be very happy. Then it's an achievement, right? Then it takes us as a collaboration to number 2 in the world if EcoTune doesn't go faster. And then we go chase down the number 1 in Australia with an 8.8. So yeah, I think, you know what, it's maybe optimistic to say it'll go, but then you never know, you know. With the S3, we were just hoping for 9.9. Okay, after we moved over to CPR, and he comes out for Shane and shakedown pass on 9.7 last year at PE National Challenge. So it could happen, but I'm not getting my hopes up because I don't want to be disappointed.
But anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
And you said you're going to make the debut in Joburg. Did I hear that correctly?
From a safety perspective, if we test the car on the 8th mile, we know the recipe already, yes. Right? The S3 does a 6.0 8th mile, okay? So if it goes 5.90 on the 8th, it's going to go faster than 9.30. So if it gets to the low 9s, 9.0, the safest place to come and run the car would be at Tarleton on a quarter mile, right? I really think that, and this is now me making a statement, Midval, Desi, Ellis Grabanti, Kilani kept us alive. Tarleton was offline for a few years. And they must continue doing what they're doing now, hence the 8th mile racing and quarter mile. But Tarleton is a purpose-built track. We don't want Tarleton to go away again. We want to support Tarleton. I've had nothing but good relations with the Tarleton, the Van Rensburg family, and with Nico van Heerden. I think we're all on the same page now. Tarleton's adopted the rules. They've been very gracious with us in that respect. But if you want to go all out in a car that's purpose-built to go as fast as it can go, and know that you've got enough runoff, safely Tarleton, and I'm going to stick by that, right? We'll run the car 8th mile anywhere else in the country, but on a quarter mile, Tarleton.
Okay, so this weekend is SA National Drags. Next weekend is Tarleton. It's the club meet, round 2.
Yeah.
So round 3 we'll see you there.
Hopefully. We're going to push.
Put pressure
We're going to push. There's a certain gentleman in Uppington that has a transmission for us. So he knows who he is in Uppington. So if he sends us that transmission,
we'll see it round
then
3.
we'll see it.
Okay, so for those of you who missed it in episode 2 of the podcast, we are going to be giving away merch to whoever comments on the video. We'll pick a random comment on the YouTube video on YouTube. So Kuven was nice enough to give us or to sponsor us a shirt. So whoever leaves a comment, we'll pick one guy. You'll win a shirt. We'll be in contact with you. We are going to do the same with episode 2. And then the shirts that you're going to give, or the shirt you're going to give us, where can they get shirts like that?
Okay. So like I said, we've just basically opened up a physical tuning shop. And so our racing is Guvner Motorsport, and we didn't want to keep it racing and the shop the same. So certain members of my family and my very close friend, the Kuven family now, Matthew, Gov's Garage, okay, is what we're calling it. So we've got a full online store now, full web store and all of that, guvnermotorsport.com. You can buy merch as well. So it's got a shop, we've got merch, and we're starting now, like I said, to our performance products. So we've got now the ethanol content sensor, the logging tool for the CMOS logging tool, harness bars, the surge tanks, all the stuff that was innovative in the S3. We're also stocking some very, very good downpipes, just by the way, Rahul. Some top downpipes there as well. So you can get it on the store, the merch on the store. I'll even sweeten the pot, Etienne. I'll tell you what, we'll give away a Guvner Motorsport shirt and a Gov's Garage shirt. 2 shirts. Right?
Thank you very much.
And from the store, we like I said, do it differently. Book your service, book your tuning. Everything's online. You book it online, and let's do a promo code. If you basically, let's do it the way the guys do it in the UK, you know. You'll drop a promo code in there, and basically, if you use the promo code, you get a discount if you buy from the store.
Okay, so we'll put up a promo code on the screen, and you guys can go and visit the shop, and you'll get a discount. 10% discount?
10% discount.
10% discount. Thank you very much, Kuven.
You're welcome.
We do appreciate that from me and all my followers. We do appreciate that. I hope you get some support from that. And
thank you.
Thanks for spending time with us this evening. I know you've been busy at the track. I don't know, you flew in today?
Flew in today. We haven't managed to get out the track because we had to go and check into our accommodation. But I did speak to Kumaran, who's been busy at work there. Spoke to JP this morning, spoke to Harry as well. So I haven't got out there, but I've seen pics, and the guys have put in a lot of work.
I saw the pictures as well. The track looks phenomenal.
Looks phenomenal.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow at the track.
Tomorrow at the track.
Bright and early, first thing in the morning.
Early. Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege again, and thank you, Rahul. Right, he's sitting behind the camera today, but thank you, Rahul, not just for today, but for everything else that you do. Really appreciate it. But
cool. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Cheers,
guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Tot ziens.
Tot ziens.
Tot wederziens.
You can't drop that part out. You have to be like, yeah, yes.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you very
Sweet,
much.
Man.
But you see what I said? It flows. If you tell everyone that comes in, like, what are we going to speak about?